Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Marilyn Shannon, and this is the Breaking Free show, and we're all about freedom. Freedom for me, freedom for you, freedom for everyone. And we come together each and every week to explore what that means and how we can feel it consciously. Because without feeling it consciously, you don't feel it. And that's what's so important. So we love to bring you stories, people, technologies, techniques each and every week that helps us break free and helps us, be more empowered, listen to the world better, you know, teach our children more, work more efficiently, whatever that looks like. So we're happy to be here. And for those of you that are tuning in, we did have a special guest on today, our delightful friend Jamie, who is a former monk, but unfortunately he lives in Brazil, I think, and they are having a power outage. So isn't that interesting? So we're going to welcome in whatever the universe has in store for us today, because obviously it must be a good one. So stay with us because something extraordinary's got to happen. I mean, it was going to happen with Jamie here one way or the other, but it really is going to happen when you are going live and 2 minutes before you go live, you find out you don't have a guest. So it's you and me. And so I want to welcome all of you today. We're going to have fun, as we always do. And I just want to remember, as we go forward in our day, to please remember you are more than welcome to call in anytime you want. And our number is 919-518-9773. Or you can communicate with us via Skype, and that's voice, and that would be at computers, plural, the number 2, K voice. You can contact us anytime during the show and just talk. Or you can come into our chat, which is already kind of lively, and there are people already in there. And you can put your name on the little line that's there and just enter in and talk to us, communicate, ask questions, whatever you like. And let me say hi to Amnon.
Hello, Marilyn.
How are you?
All right, how are you?
I'm good. What you doing? What's going
I'm
on
just
over there?
getting the last things.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on doing
connected
producing
and-
these shows, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but it's fine.
It's all good,
but it's
right?
fun.
Okay, yeah, it's fun
all
because
good.
you know what? It's life. How many of you, day by day, are faced with things that all of it that you did not plan for, and it can throw you off, or it can throw you up? I mean, what else? What else can you do? I mean, every
nothing.
single day we are faced with things every day because we can't plan our entire day. So we're faced with things that happen on a regular basis that we have absolutely no control over. We don't know what to do about it. We just have to roll with it and just, trust ourselves to know that we're going to do the best that we very well can
Absolutely.
and move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can you do me a favor? Could you put up the first slide?
First slide.
So I love,
Permission.
okay, so I love this
License.
slide. Speak Your Mind license. Okay, this show is for you to speak your mind, and I give you the license to do it. So this license entitles you to say whatever you want. Bring up whatever you want to bring up, talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's your show, and I am here to serve. Basically, I'm not and I are here to serve, to make this experience, not make, but to help create the most fulfilling experience we can have. So please go ahead and share with us. Whatever you think about, fear or judgment doesn't exist here, or criticism. Open yourself up and the world will open up with you. So we are delighted to have you do that. And let's see what's going on in the chat. Okay, so Suziani, who comes here religiously, and we love her, she said, I knew something was up with Jamie. He always sends out an email on Monday with an inspirational quote, and today I looked for today's quote for the show, and there wasn't any. So good point, because you know what? It's about listening. Because I thought something similar. So Suziani heard Jamie speak out on our last show, and she loved him, and I guess she signed up for his, daily quote, and she didn't get it. And it's interesting because I didn't see him post a reply or anything for today's show today or yesterday. And I was kind of wondering, where are you, Jamie? I don't see you. So you're absolutely right. And she says, I look great. Well, thank you very much. I cannot wear sleeveless. My upper arms are so, okay, she's saying this. My upper arms are so fleshy. You know the bat wing thing that comes with old age. Yes, I know that, and I'm not showing it. But however, so this is also what happened. So let me explain to you what happened. There's a blue screen. And I went shopping with my daughter this week, and I bought a beautiful, guess what, blue shirt. I love this shade of blue, and I thought, okay, I'm going to wear it today because I forgot that the screen behind me is blue, which means, Marilyn, don't wear blue, but Marilyn forgot. So Marilyn wore blue, and when Marilyn wears blue, which is not that often, and I come on here, it looks like I am the screen. I have no clothes on. So I had to, in about 2 minutes, go to my car and put on an exercise top because that's all I have.
It doesn't look like exercise top.
Well,
it looks like a shirt.
It is an exercise top, but nonetheless, this is what I'm wearing.
You're exercising your freedom. There you go.
We're exercising our freedom.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. What else was I going to do? I had no choice. So here I am. I'm making the best of it, and it's a good color. And luckily, I'm wearing the right lipstick. So anyway, I'm happy to be here, and it's going to be fun. So anyway, okay. So let's see. Remember, call in if you've got any questions, anything you want to share. We're here, and we're open to talking about anything. Remember, for this lady who in 2 minutes, 3 minutes maybe, found some really cool quotes to share with you today, had to change my clothes and realize that my guest isn't coming on, honey, I'm going to sit back and turn the show over to you.
and I did not help a bit.
And, well, you
did everything yourself. No, you did everything yourself. I don't want people to think that something was going on here.
Well, what could go on?
I don't know.
There's nothing. I'm one person. Okay, so here we go. So let's see. Anything else on there? No. Okay. The screen is not blue. It is the room scene. Yes, that's true. But can you explain what we mean by a blue screen?
Let's see. Suziani, are you looking at the screen?
Okay.
Are you sure it's not blue?
Look at it. Okay, everybody look at the screen. Are you sure it's not blue? It looks like I'm in a room, right? Okay, here we go. Now I'm blue. See, this is really what's behind me. Okay, so this is what happens. So, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you wear blue,
it's see-through.
It's see-through.
I mean, it's not that you see through the blue to see somebody without clothes. It's see-through. Right. You see the room.
You see
it's
the
like
room.
They don't exist. So Marilyn looked like a floating head in the picture. That's it.
That's all I would be. I would be like the room would be all, you would just see my head and just the room would be here.
Right.
So that wasn't very attractive. So anyway, on with the show, right? Okay. So let's go to the next quote.
See what Suziani's saying?
What? What'd she say?
Saying, WTF, that is so freaky.
What does WTF mean?
What the?
Oh, okay. That is freaky. Well, we could say it here, but we won't.
Right.
But yeah, the whole thing is freaky. That's why stay with us, because something amazing has to and will, and even if it's just that we're going to have just a great time together, and you didn't prepare for this and I didn't prepare for this, because you don't face these kinds of things without some kind of amazing thing to go through. You just don't face it. You don't come. We spend a lot of time preparing for these shows. I mean, Chris is out on our chat. She's our co-producer. I'm not sitting here. We prepare a lot for these shows, even when I'm here by myself, which I like to do. But I spend a lot of time thinking about, okay, what are we going to talk about? What's the purpose? What's the message? What are we going to share today? And when we have a guest, I mean, I study the guest. I mean, it takes us, weeks to get things prepared for each guest, believe it or not. And so when you have a lovely person, which we have every week, when you have a lovely person not be able to show up, you got to think to yourself, oh my God, what am I going to, what's going to happen? And I just know that something very cool will happen today. So anyway, so the next quote. So don't go through life, grow through life. And I think that would, very fitting for today's show. Don't go through life. Grow through life. And for me, being able to show up here with a smile on my face, as comfortable as I can possibly be, is growth. And I could put my hand under the desk. I could be a wreck. In fact, Amnon kept saying, well, just relax, relax. And I'm saying, I am relaxed. I am relaxed. You got to laugh. What else are you going to do? I am relaxed. And I'm growing through this because this is an experience that I take with me. And I say to myself, all right, Marilyn, where are you going to speak? What are you going to do? If you can handle going live on this show with no clothes and no guest, I mean, come on. I mean, I think I could do other things too and not freak out, because there are some things that I want to do that, I too put off, and I might just have to not put off anymore. So, it's very important to consider this thought. Don't go through life. Grow through it. Take your lessons, learn from them, let each lesson, that's what they are, not mistakes, lessons, let them teach you something. I could sit here and I could think to myself, why did I wear blue? I mean, I should know that by now. I'm doing this show almost 4 years. I love the color blue, and it's the one color I can't wear. But what am I going to do? I had a brain, and so what? It's all going to be great. So take your lessons. Go through life. Take each thing that pops up as much as you can be conscious of it. And think to yourself, okay, what am I supposed to get here? Or what can I share with someone that is good for them to get? So that would be a really good thing. So does Marilyn not see the room seen? Well, of course I see it. But
No, you don't. You see blue.
no, I see the room in here.
When
Oh,
you
no,
turn
behind me. Yes, exactly. Yes, the blue is behind me. The scene is behind me is what you see. But I don't see that. Okay. Let's see, what else? Is there anything on here that we should talk about?
No.
Okay, all right. So now let's go to the next quote, which I really, really love. And I think we can have a really cool conversation about this one. And I've been holding on to this one for a special moment. And I think it's right here, right now. So some people accuse the new generation of being ignorant. Maybe ignorant for the old generation, but it's a new language. What does that mean? So let's talk about it. Some people accuse the new generation of being ignorant. Maybe ignorant for the old generation, but it's a new language. And I think that goes for all kinds of things. So sometimes we don't understand the way our kids talk, teenagers talk, or anybody communicates, or the things that they do. And we think, oh my God, sometimes we pass judgments, we don't understand, we can't explain it to me, I don't get it. But maybe it's just another way of doing something. It's just a new language. Just like we have a computer language. It's still, I get confused with LOL on the computer. Lots of love.
Suziani was really surprised when she said, I can't believe Marilyn didn't know what WTF is.
Oh, yeah, right. I had no idea. That's exactly right. I had no idea. So it's not that I'm ignorant. It's not that you're ignorant. It's just that it's a different language. And the way we communicate with each other is so important, that we find those common ways of communicating. And sometimes that way of communicating might be, I don't understand the word. Or what do you mean by that? And asking the right kinds of questions. It's laugh. Oh, we see? She's telling me LOL is not lots of love. Okay, I am stupid. No, I'm not stupid. I'm just making fun of myself. No, I'm not stupid. Laughing out loud. Oh, I always thought it was lots of love. Oh, isn't that cool? But why isn't it lots of love? Who said it can't be lots of love?
The kids.
Are they the ones that created it?
They're the ones that's creating this.
So can I create lots of love?
Yeah, but I mean, somebody has a patent, a copyright on
LOL
already, yeah.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
I think there's a way, and I'm not into this much, but I think
Right.
something about lowercase and uppercase can mean different things. So if it's lowercase,
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's
Well,
the other one,
so-
ROTFL.
What? What's another one?
ROTFL.
What is that?
It's rolling on the floor laughing.
Is that what Chris is doing?
Well, that's when you say, like, I laughed so hard, I'm on the floor rolling.
So if I did
So-
capital L, capital O, capital L, it could be laugh out loud. Oh, loving out, loving.
I don't know.
But-
I'm not the authority.
Okay,
Don't ask me. I
okay.
don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, so she said, now Marilyn has to look back at posts where she thought she was getting love and they were laughing at me. I guess so. But the point is, we can misunderstand each other a lot. The important thing is to ask the right questions, to clarify something, and not to pass judgments on somebody else. I mean, we can laugh at each other, and we can have a great time communicating and understanding that we all have different experiences. We come from different places. We spend time focusing on different things. It doesn't make me wrong. It doesn't make me stupid. It doesn't make me anything, except it makes me have a different experience. And so I think it's really important to say, and I'm going to stop saying I think, I know it's important to ask the right questions, not to pass judgment, to be open to, and for me to be open, not knowing everything, and say, could you explain that to me? And be okay with that. What is this? Ta-ta. Oh, ta-ta for now.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Is talk to you later. Oh my God, I don't know any of these. What's BRB? Be right back. Are people really using these?
Yeah, all the time.
Where are they using
In
these?
chat, on the phone especially, when they text, instead of writing talk with you later.
So is there
That's-
some
it's-
place?
all these things came as a result of
Really?
the old days. Do you remember the old days of texting? When there was no keyboard? That you
No.
Had to you had to click the key.
Oh yeah, yeah,
3
yeah, yeah,
times,
yeah,
and
yeah,
one
yeah.
time it
Oh
would
yeah,
stay,
yeah. That
one
was
time-
awful.
So for doing that, it was taking forever. They came up with all these shortcuts.
Really? So is there a place? I use all the time. And XXX, that to me is the best.
Well,
XXX and
is-
OO.
XX is enough.
That's all I
See?
do. XXX. If you get an XXX from me, you know it's love, love, love. Is there a place that shows all these? by
There's a
chance?
bunch of places on the
Okay.
internet that you can
Okay. Okay, good. All right. Well, I didn't know that this quote would open up that conversation, but it's perfect. So again, if you want to call in and you got anything to share or nothing to share at all, you just want to talk to me, that's great. Come on, give me a call, 919-518-9773, or Skype computers, that's plural, 2K voice, that's the number 2, so it's computers with an S, 2K voice. And you'll come in on Skype voice, or, take, part in the chat. You can put your name on the little line that says Nick, and you put your nickname, that's fine. We don't need your real name unless you want to. And just take part in the conversation that's going on over there. Oh, is that a call? Wow, good. Hello.
Hi, it's Suzanne.
Hey there.
How you doing?
I'm having fun. I mean, how are you doing?
All right. You missed something that I typed in the chat much earlier before
Okay.
we got on the laughing out loud part.
Okay.
I said let's talk about serendipity.
Serendipity. Wow, okay.
All right. Now, for you, you know what serendipity is.
Yeah. Yeah, you explain it because there might be people who don't.
Right. Well, I was going to ask you to explain it because you probably could explain it better.
Well, I always think about it as a serendipitous moment.
Yes, but it's like not a coincidence. It's a chance meeting, a chance connection that has a meaning, but you don't know what it is yet.
Okay.
Like, it's not like, oh, you say hello to somebody on the street and you keep walking. Something makes the connection. I'll have to look up a definition for it to.
Okay.
There,
But that's right.
I'm sure there's a better definition that's a little. Wait a minute. I'm just looking.
Okay,
it up.
so okay, so
I have a story to tell because it happened to me over the weekend,
Okay.
and the only word to describe it is serendipity. So
okay, wait,
I
hold on a
thought-
minute. Zen says, let me just say this. Zen says this is her his definition. When you find something you weren't looking for. is
Okay,
serendipitous?
on Wikipedia says it's a fortunate happenstance or a pleasant surprise.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
The official definition of it is the faculty of making discoveries by accident. That's number one. Number two, and these are the noun, the fact or occurrence of such discoveries, or an instant of making such a discovery. Okay, that's
Okay.
that's the official definition. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Now, whatever you call it, we know what we're talking about now.
Yes.
So I'm not always on Facebook, but my Facebook is always open. And you know how in your timeline, you get posts from people on your friends list. So, I have this niece who's a doctor in Florida, and she has two little ones. She just had her second baby. And she usually posts, the goings on, pictures of the kids, whatever. And she doesn't usually, she'll post things about doctors, or like about vaccinations or whatever, but she won't ever get political. And she got very political this weekend. And I read it and I had a reaction to it. And she started by saying, I'm a liberal, and she's against the raising the
Is she
minimum
talking
wage.
about you being a liberal or her being a liberal?
No, she started the post by saying, okay, I'm a liberal, okay, she doesn't think the minimum wage should be raised to $15, and she went on and on saying why. I never saw her rant, and she was ranting. So I watched for a while, and nobody posted on it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to say something. So I said something. And then this other girl said something. I didn't know who she was, because this is my niece in Florida. We don't have the same friends, obviously. So then I commented back to whoever this girl was, and then she commented back to me, and then all of a sudden she goes, are you Artie's sister? And I'm like, yes. And she said, oh, I've known Artie for, 40 years, and she's just going on, more than 40 years, and I'm like, who is this person? How does she know my brother? But I didn't ask her that, and she answered it. She said, I used to babysit for Eric, that's my brother's firstborn, when they lived on 14th Street in Rockaway. And she said, nice to meet you. And I'm like, nice to meet you. And I'm like, wait a minute. We've met. I said, you're the girl that lived across the street. You were like 16 when I was 19. I said, I stayed with my brother. I said, we met. This is not the first time we're meeting. So all of a sudden we're like, how are you? What have you been doing? And we hijacked this very serious post, and we're just like fluffing it up together, right?
Right.
And then I said to her, we hijacked Sarah's post. Sorry to Sarah, whatever. And she said, oh, no, Sarah won't mind. I know Sarah. Sarah used to come up and go to camp with my kids. And I'm like, wait a minute. Really? So, whatever.
So what is the serendipitous moment?
Here we go. She friend requests me, okay? And we didn't talk that night or anything. She thanked me for friend. I accepted this friend request. And then the next day, she posted this post that it had been 20 years since her husband died.
Wait. Say that one more time. She what?
She said yesterday was the anniversary of 20 years ago her husband died.
Okay.
And that was a day after the baloney on my niece's post.
Right.
So I was like, whoa. Because when we were talking the night before, I had asked her, and she posted on my timeline, now we were having a conversation, not privately, publicly. So we didn't get into heavy stuff, but I had asked her,
what was the serendipitous moment for you?
I'll tell you why. Because that was Friday, and Saturday night after she posted that she lost her husband 20 years ago, I privately messaged her. We ended up talking for 4 hours till 1:30 in the morning, okay? And we both realized there was a reason this connection was made, okay? And the way it was made, like she asked me if I was Artie's sister. Otherwise, I would have just thought she was some stranger I didn't know. But there was a reason that connection was made.
Okay, so let's get to... So what do you think the reason is?
This girl has had... I've had a lot of losses in my life, this girl has had, this girl is such an inspiration, not just to me, but she would be to anybody. But she's a perfect example of God doesn't give you more than you can handle, okay? Although you would think nobody could handle this. She lost friends, including my ex-sister-in-law, who she used to be close to. 20 years ago when her husband died, 18 months later, she lost her 18-year-old son. And people stopped bothering with her because people don't know how you handled that kind of thing in 18 months' time. And so they stop bothering with you because they don't know how they would handle it. They can't believe you're still here. Because, you think, if I lost my kid,
let's talk
I would
about,
not be able to go on.
Okay, so
We
we
both knew by 1:30 in the morning that there was a reason that connection was made, and she said it. She said, even though we only knew each other for a brief time, and it was like, that 9 degrees of separation, more or less, okay, she wasn't my friend, she wasn't my babysitter. I knew her for like a 3-month period of time, maybe. I saw her a half a dozen times. And that was more than 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I realized that on the day that was the anniversary of her husband's death, if she had 4 hours to message back and forth with me.
She had what? I missed what you
said. She
said.
had 4 hours of time on a Saturday night, okay, talking to me. She needed, I messaged her saying, I'm so sorry about your husband. And then I said something about, you mentioned 3 kids. And she said I had 4. And then the whole tragedy unfolded.
Okay.
And we ended up talking about that, and then ended up talking about happy things.
Okay.
And then ended up just talking. But at the end of the conversation, we knew that a bond had been formed, and that there was a reason. Either she's there for me, or I'm there for her. We're both there for each other. But if it wasn't for that stupid post that had nothing to do with either of us,
it
had to do with But if I never post on my niece, I'll hit like and say, oh, how beautiful the kid is. But I don't post on political stuff. I don't do that. That's not what Facebook is about to me. I'm like one of these happy horseshit people. So,
So
I'm saying, it's not the first time in my life. I have connected with people who I ended up being, and she said, I feel like we're soulmates. And it was just strange. And she has, by the way, on top of that story, she found her birth parents 8 years ago. And she just met her mother and her sister that she grew up an only child.
Okay, let me interrupt you a second, okay? So let's get back to this notion of serendipitous and a serendipitous moment.
Right.
Sometimes you are like tuned into something and nobody else is going to have you could have it with somebody like you and this woman had over this this post. Like your moment occurred over the post. I don't think it was the conversation. Something might have happened during the conversation that you had for 4 hours, but it wasn't a 4-hour. The serendipity. The
serendipity happened
right.
at the moment that she asked me if I was already sister, and I said
right.
yes. And then
right.
when the conversation just was going on when it shouldn't have been, we were already bonding.
Right,
okay,
exactly.
We didn't know the reason for it, but
right.
I think the reason for that happening Friday, there's your answer, Marilyn, is that Saturday she had nobody to talk to, and people didn't want to hear about her grief and losing her son because it's too sad. People don't like to ask about those things. They don't want to hear you talking about them because they're uncomfortable, for your pain. And I don't deal with people's pain that way. Okay, I let her talk about it. I asked her questions. She showed me pictures of her son. This is what she should have been doing yesterday, being able to share with somebody on the anniversary of when she lost the love of her life.
Okay, so let's get back to this. So for her, the serendipitous moment gave her permission to chat with you about her life and what was going on. And for you, what was the moment was that you don't normally do this.
No, I do. That is kind of who I am.
Okay, so.
But I'm saying, for me, I even hesitated to post on Sarah's post. I wasn't going to, give my opinion about $15 an hour wages.
Right.
I wasn't going to do that because, like I said, I don't get into it. I let other people do the politics of things.
Right.
Okay?
Right. So that was a great, so that's a great example.
I don't know what made me change my mind, but you see, it was because she was going to show up in that space.
Maybe. So I'd be interested in hearing, and Chris was asking, she said social media can really make or help people find their way, and she was asking if anybody else had a serendipitous...
Marilyn, I thought you had read the book, The Celestine Prophecy years ago.
Yeah.
When it was big, and everybody was passing the book around.
Yeah.
What happened this weekend with her was, a Celestine Prophecy type of thing. It's exactly what that book spells out. That like-minded people and people that are coming from the same place will meet up in this 100 years. That it was going to start happening at the turn of this century that just turned, and it did for me. It did start happening. Okay, I know more people today that I've ever known in any other time in my life. Okay, and it's because I used to say God lays people at my feet. It's just I trip over people, and this was another one of those instances.
Well, Suziani, thank you for bringing it up because it's
but
great.
I'm wondering if other people have serendipity stories, and that's why I bring it up.
It's a great story. So let me put it out there and say, if anybody else has, a similar or some kind of story like that, by all means, give us a call and share it because it shows that they happen. We all know that these things happen on some level. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Some of us have them happen because we're aware and we listen and we take note of those serendipitous type of experiences. Somebody else might just pass it off and say, just a coincidence or it was no big deal. But sometimes when you have those experiences, there's a feeling that comes along or can come along with those experiences that is priceless. And so they're really fun. Excuse me, they're really fun. And I'm open. Yeah, so if anybody, so thank you, honey. I appreciate you calling in about it and opening up the question. It's a really good one. So if anybody, that's a great question. And I'm sure Suziani was there in perfect order for this woman. She was somebody that, was there. So if anybody has a story, that you want to share about having this experience, by all means, give us a call and share it. Call in at 919-518-9773. Or again, you can connect with us on computers, 2K Voice, and share your story. And you can also go into the chat and add a comment there. But those kinds of experiences, they're fun to share because we're just, we're regular old people. And those moments, I don't know, are all the planets aligned in those exact moments or what? Maybe that's all it takes. Maybe that's what a serendipitous experience or moment is when those moments come together, when those planets align and everything is in perfect order. I would say, well, what happens all the other times? Is it happen multiple times? Or what happens? Or is it just like candy? Is it like the cherry on top of the cake to let us know that, wow, things are going on beneath the surface that we really don't really know about?
But
and
Marilyn,
that we really,
if you don't stay in the moment, you miss out on serendipity. You have to be in the moment for that to occur. But also, too, Chris is asking what's the difference between serendipity and destiny. Well, serendipity are the moments. Destiny is the end game.
Well, that's possible. I mean, maybe there's all kinds of serendipitous moments, experiences all along.
Right.
We just are not tuned in, but it's part of destiny.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm gonna hang up and say you look marvelous.
Thank you. I
right,
feel
have a nice
good.
day.
It's like yoga. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
honey. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Okay. So thank you. So thank you. So we're gonna get on with the rest of our show, and would ask you to call in again, and we're gonna go to the next slide. Amnon, you ready? The next slide. Here we go. So, in keeping with some of what we've talked about as far as the kids are concerned, or anybody that you come in contact with and their language, your language is different, here's a quote that I thought was kind of interesting. When you've done something wrong, admit it and be sorry. No one in history has ever choked to death from swallowing his pride. So it's very important on an ongoing basis that when you don't know something, that you admit it. When you do know, it's just as good to admit it and to be okay with it. To say, okay, I don't know this, I didn't know that, I wore blue today, shoot, I forgot. It's really okay to admit it and to go on and to learn from it, as I often say. So let's go to the next one. No one is as deaf as the man who will not listen. Jewish proverb. Kind of going along with some of what Susiani brought up a little bit ago about the serendipitous moments and things that occur when the planets are aligned, or we're having something intuitive occurs. We're in the right place at the right time. We get a gift of some kind. Somebody calls that we've always wanted to hear from. We get a job that we've been waiting for. You get a promotion. You meet somebody that you used to know, and it's just the right, perfect timing for it. If you're not aware and consciously aware and grateful for those experiences, they don't happen as often, and you're missing out. So I would say that, this quote about listening is really a big one. No one is as deaf as a man who does not listen. You miss out on so much of life. So you're missing out on more than just what you hear. You're missing out on what you feel. You're missing out on everything that listening brings to you. And listening is a touch. Everything gives off information, whether it's a touch, a sensitivity, a feeling, an experience. That's what listening is. And when you don't tune in to those experiences, you're more deaf than somebody who just can't hear. So keep that in mind. Let's see, is there anything?
And that comes from the authority on listening, too.
What do you mean?
You.
Yes. I am an authority on
I know.
listening. I try to anyway, yeah. Well, again, there's that word try. I don't want to use that word try. I hear myself say that word try, and I think, no, I am listening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to. I am. So, yes, I am very big on listening.
And you listen every Thursday?
I listen every Thursday on Google+. We have a listening show every Thursday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time called Skywire. If you ever have a chance to tune in, please do. We talk about all kinds of great things, have a great panel, lots of people engaging with us there. So bringing up all kinds of juicy things that takes our listening to a deeper and deeper level, which I can't stress enough. There's so much of life that's left to discover. And I want to say something. I saw this really great documentary, and I mentioned it last week. And it was a great, great, great documentary. I really loved it. It was about base jumping. But there was a line in there, and I don't remember what the exact line was, but the sentiment was so interesting. And this is basically what it was. We are glorifying life. And he was talking about jumping off of these cliffs, and how his jumping off of these cliffs was a way of him glorifying life, because he showed where he could take life, the depth of life, by jumping off of how far he could go. how to the edge he could take himself and life and what the bigness of life. And so his jumping off of the base was glorifying life. And I listened to this and I thought, listening for me is a way that we get to glorify, or the way I get to glorify life is through listening. And I invite you all to take a ride with me on this listening journey and see how it glorifies life. Because listening points a finger, a light, a focus on every part of this life and this existence. Every part is where we go when we listen. So to me, listening glorifies life. I love that. Is there anything on here I need to look at, Amnon? Let's see. Is a good. Zan says serendipity is good fortune that shows up unexpectedly where you're living out your destiny. Wow. That's an interesting, I don't know if that's her or his saying that, or if that's somebody else, but that's like saying I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm living my destiny, and here's proof. That's very, very good. I love that. So Chris says, serendipity is like having a cupcake on your journey. Yes, it is. That's another good one. So it's proof. It's saying, okay, here, you're doing the right thing, and you're taking me up on my offer. Like Suziani. The universe said, here is this opportunity. Take me up on my offer. And she did. And what she got out of it was this incredible connection and knowing that she did something really wonderful for somebody. So listening tells me this. Listening tells me that that what I'm reading is right on. And it tells you that when you're having these moments, you're right there in the right time at the right place. Zan says, swallowing pride gets easier with practice, just like anything else. Yes, it does. Pride doesn't become any big deal. It's not saying I'm wrong and I'm this and I'm bad. It just says, okay, I didn't know what LOL was. I thought it was one thing. Suziani or somebody said it was something else. That's fine. And pride, honestly, really isn't a good word, because pride denotes that my nose is going up in the air. And that's not how I want to live my life, with my nose up in the air. So we don't want to use that. Okay. And what did she say? Yes, you're even listening to yourself. That's exactly right. Okay. Ready? So no one is as deaf as the man who will not listen. Okay, because then you're losing out on everything you could hear, not just your ears. All right, not just what you get. Okay, next one. Okay, Zan, do I know you? Because I think I do. So if you could just say, hi, Marilyn, yes, you do know me. Or is this a different Zan? But how many Zans are there? So anyway, okay, here we go. Listening and being curious and wide-eyed in the world, I think, is what allows us to move forward, progress, evolve, and learn and alter our behavior and become more self-aware. I think that listening is kind of what it's all about. Andrew Zuckerman. So, what does this mean? Listening and being curious and wide-eyed in the world, I think, is what it allows us to move forward. It does. It allows me to listen past my pride and says that pride is not how I want to feel or how I want to be. I don't want to be like that. It allows me to progress and evolve and learn and change my behavior without feeling like I'm stuck in this one place and I have to be this way, or I have to do this and I can't change and I have to know it all and I can't show up here blubbling sometimes and making a mistake. Or it allows me to listen past that. It allows me to listen to the fact that I'm not the only one. It allows me to listen to the fact that I'm learning. It allows me to listen to the fact that I'm connected to you, heart to heart. Whenever I blubble, or whenever you blubble, say things out of our mouths that maybe roll out that we want to correct or change after we hear it. Oh, good, it's fine. It allows me to listen to him and think, this is what I have to put up with. No. and thank him for his humor and for his willingness to, kind of roll with the punches. Listening allows us to be anywhere, anyone, anyhow we want to be. And listening is trust. As you listen, you build this trust in yourself. You build this trust in the human race. You build your trust in hope. You build love, compassion. You build empathy. That's what trust does. It's like a magic carpet ride. You get on it and you listen a little, and then that listening tells you something, and then you listen for the action to take through that listening, and it's fabulous. And listening can only be done, not only, but a lot of times in silence. Because you've got to hear, and it's the message of the universe. It's the message that comes through each and every one of us that tells me something. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, I know you. Well, hi. It's nice to hear from you and see you. It's been a while. Way better than pride. Yes, it is. Trust is way better than pride. Well, Zan, it's really nice to have you there. What a lovely surprise. Okay, next. So let's go on. Let me read this one more time. Listening and being curious. Listening gives me permission to not know it all and to be curious, to say, okay, curious, not having to know it all, like I did today. I mean, I'm curious about how this show is going to go down, not knowing everything that would happen. Coming here almost, even with having a guest, and coming here with a blank slate and saying, okay, bring it on. I can take it, because you know why? We're together. And I know that, and I say this a lot, I'm going to go through a red light, just like other people are going to go through. So why should I get angry at you? Why should you get angry at me? We're all going to make errors and lessons happen. So let's be curious. Let's all go out in the world and be curious. Like, use the world as this greatest adventure that we possibly can be on, because it is. And say, you know what? Because I'm listening, I know that the universe and all this creation is all perfect. And I'm going to trust it. And so wherever my listening takes me, whatever path, whatever new job, whatever new relationship, I'm going to listen. I'm going to get better and better at it. And I'm going to hear more and more of what I'm supposed to hear. And I'm going to learn more and more. Right? Okay, next slide. So 10% of conflict is due to differences in opinion, and 90% is due to wrong tone of voice. Why are you laughing? Tell me. Why is that
Because
strike a
it's
chord?
true.
It's true. Why is it true?
Yeah, it's true.
Why is it true?
See,
but I don't
It's a
have to
difference.
listen to his tone. There's a difference. There's a difference.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That doesn't really mean that it's true.
That's what makes a difference.
Yes, it is true.
Yeah. Or
Then it's true.
Or no, you're wrong. Or no, you're wrong.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
let's practice. Honestly, let's practice listening to our tone of voice, because so much of what goes on everywhere is because of the tone, the judgmental tone, the accusatory tone, the you push my button tone, the I don't want to be wrong tone, the oh you caught me being wrong tone, or I'm embarrassed tone, or goodness gracious, it can't be me, it's got to be you tone. When we hear those tones and those underlying conversations that we're having that shoot out the tone, if we listen to those tones, then we can prevent so many misunderstandings and uncomfortable scenarios in our lives. So the lesson for this slide is to listen to your tone. Amen, Marilyn. Oh, yes. Thank you. Great quote. Thank you. Yes, listen to your tone. I'm listening to the chat, and I'm reading it. I'm trying to see it. Okay. Why is tone so more important than words? Because that's all they're going to hear. And your words won't be heard. It's like screaming. You scream at your kids, or you scream at your husband, you scream at your wife, you scream at somebody, you yell.
Well,
all they're going to hear is the loud tone. They're not going to hear the actual words.
It's
And
because humans are defensive always.
Yeah.
And when you hear somebody being really loud or kind of, not human, you don't listen anymore.
Can't hear it.
That's it. You
You
shut down
off. You
and
shut
you're
off. Yes,
exactly.
you shut down, you shut off, and you're not going to hear it. So so today, from what we've gone through, be curious and listen. Remember your tone. We're not done yet, but I'm just kind of going over it. Watch your tone, because so many of our conflicts, as I've said, start because of our tone. So listen, be curious, listen to change, listen to grow, listen to evolve, listen to be okay with all of that. Conflict, and the other big thing that I want to remind you of was the first quote that we talked about, was the generational differences, and I would say also the differences between people and how we utilize language and words differently. And that's very, very important, because somebody uses one word or a sentence, they can mean something entirely different than what you would mean by the same sentence or by that same information. So ask questions. Don't judge. Ask questions before you get into any kind of big conflict there, because believe me, so much of what goes on between us can be alleviated, eliminated by just asking the right question. Okay, let's see, next slide. And I love this one. And this is my last one. A flower does not think of competing to the flower. Competing. Oh, a flower does not think of compete. I'm sorry. Where am I? Oh, no. Words are plentiful. Deeds are precious. I'm jumping ahead. Words are plentiful. Deeds are precious. So you can say about anything, and there's tons of words, but how you be with somebody, how you serve someone is so much bigger and greater than just saying it. Be it. Be your heart, and that's huge, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, next one. Conflict is the beginning of consciousness. I'm not sitting here and he's like, of consciousness. Conflict is the beginning of consciousness. Because it's telling you something. There's a feeling inside of you. There's a rumbling. There's something that's not working.
Only if you pay attention to it.
If you pay attention.
Yeah.
It is. It's something on some level that it's not working. And so it is the beginning of consciousness. It's the beginning of changing something, of acknowledging something, of being aware. And maybe for some of us, for many of us, and I would hope for hopefully more and more, the more you get into it, the more we'll want to get out of it. And it is, for me, a spiritual experience, conflict. And it's teaching me so much about, listen, I'm getting ready to do a lot of things about conflict. I really am. About conflict with parenting, with kids, with rivalry, with all kinds of things. Because I believe that peace will come from our focusing on the conflicts and listening to it, past it, through it, and how we can talk to each other. And I just think I used to not like it at all, because I didn't have the words or the stamina or the presence to be able to work myself through it. But I want to help people understand how to handle it so it doesn't stay stuck for us. It elevates our relationships, because just like freedom comes from something. It comes from no freedom, right? Where does peace come from? From conflict. So I guess on some level we'll be going through conflict to arrive at peace. And I want to help people get to peace. So I have to help you understand conflict. Apparently it can take quite a while for the conflict to become conscious, let alone consciousness. And that's okay. It's a journey. Yes, that's perfect. Maybe consciousness and peace are serendipity on the journey. Whoa. Let me think. I have to think about that. Maybe Maybe consciousness and peace are serendipitous on the journey. Wow, that's a really... Okay, so everybody that's listening, I am throwing this back at you too. And come to the Breaking Free show on Facebook or write me at MarilynShannon.com, Marilyn at MarilynShannon.com, and give me what you think. So this is very interesting. So conscious peace. Okay, so consciousness and peace are serendipitous on the journey. Right. That's very interesting. Both of them together. And conflict. But apparently it can... Well, the conflict become consciousness and is okay. So maybe consciousness and peace are serendipitous on the journey of conflict.
Is that because you don't expect it to be peaceful, and you don't expect it to be conscious?
Maybe.
When
you see it, when you see the light of breaking free or breaking through, or you see peace come through conflict. It is a conscious moment. So let me read this again. Okay, so here I'm putting it out here, and I would love for anybody to engage with me on this one, engage with all of us, even after the show. So maybe consciousness and peace are serendipitous on the journey through conflict. Tell me what you think of that. Okay? That's a very beautiful thought. Okay, is there more? Is there another one? Let me see. Thanks. I got curious and came to watch your show today. Bravo. Oh my goodness. And I would say that peace is what? Serendipitous. What am I looking at? Yeah, where she says, thanks, Marilyn? Where? Read it.
Zan says, we've come a full circle this show.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
And Zan, I'd love you to write on Facebook or send me a message and tell me how you see this coming full circle. And if anybody else out here that's been watching this from the beginning or any time during the show, and you've heard all the crazy stuff we've been talking about, that now we've come full circle, would you please write us on Facebook, on the Breaking Free Show page on Facebook, or Marilyn Shannon on Facebook? Go do that. You can write me personally to Marilyn at MarilynShannon.com. I'd love to hear your remarks and your comments. We'll post them. One more. Here we go. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. This is good. This is the one I wanted to end with before. Okay. A flower does not think of competing to the flower next to it. It just blooms. Okay? So we're all here. We're all growing. We're all blooming. And we want to see all this beautiful garden of human blooms just popping up everywhere. And it doesn't matter how somebody else is blooming, what their color is, how tall they are, how fat they are. Anything about that doesn't matter. Just bloom. Just self-bloom. That's all that anybody can care about, want to have happen. It doesn't matter. Today I have bloomed. I have come on the show with an exercise top, period. And if you were here from the beginning, you will know. And if you weren't, then you got to go listen. But, that's how it goes. So it's been just a blast. I've loved every minute of it. Thank you, Suziani, for calling, Chris for being on the chat, Zan for being here, and all of you out there. Thank you for sharing this time with us. It's been great. I can't stop smiling. Thank you for being here. I love you all. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week. Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCBVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.